with. I appreciate the auto attack for people who don't know how to play RPGs to kind of get them to
Yeah.
play. Because honestly, my 8-year-old niece was watching me play, and I was like, "You want to play?" I was like, "How you play? It's too many crazy stuff on screen." Like, no, 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 just play X. Just press X. That's it. And so you just press X. And when her health is down, I get the controller from her and then give her some health and then give it right back to her. And like, no, just keep pressing X. Just keep no. Do I have to press no? No, no. Just keep pressing X, and then you'll be fine. Which was funny because she was playing that, and then before she played that, she was playing stacking from the Double
Okay.
Fine guys.
Yeah.
And after she played both of them, she's like 8 years old, you know. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, you like Final Fantasy? I was like, yeah, it's really cool. I like stacking better though.
God.
Take his life so that I can take yours. Fucking piece of shit. I hope you rot in hell forever. Now you are mine.
But there's been an announcement about a week ago for The Darkness 2, baby.
Oh,
The
really?
Darkness 2, yes.
Oh, jeez, I gotta check that out.
I knew that they were working on it, but it was kind of like maybe, maybe not. They announced
Yeah.
they're working on The Darkness 2. They licensed the Unreal Engine for future projects.
Yeah.
They've only shown, I think, one picture. And they were talking to the developers, and they said that Uncharted and Half-Life is sort of the inspiration for Darkness 2, which I thought was very
Oh.
interesting.
Oh, yeah.
I love the Darkness one. Not saying it's not perfect. There's
No.
definitely issues that it needs to be worked on. For example, the shooting mechanic was not good at all.
Yeah.
Some people had problems with controlling the darkness, which I personally didn't, but it seems like other people did. So maybe they can
Yeah.
tweak that so people can kind of get, a better handle on that.
Oh, yeah.
I love the story. Keep the story, it reminds me more of Spawn.
Yeah.
It has that humor, but it's super sadistic as well. It's like a super
Yeah.
sick stuff that goes on in that game.
Oh, yeah.
And work a little bit on the facial expressions for Johnny Estacado, our main character.
Yeah.
Because when he talks, it's kind of like no emotion at all. And this was actually really interesting because I was such a big fan that I went off to see some of the comic books because it was based on
Yeah,
a comic book. And I didn't know that at the beginning he was more of like a Tony Stark, kind of like, sexy, he gets laid all the time. He had, he was just like Tony Stark's. And then
Yeah.
he got darker when he turned 18 or something, got possessed by the darkness. You never got that sense in that video game that he was ever a playboy at any time. So I think it would be cool if they could kind of show that almost Tony Stark sarcastic side to him in part 2 instead of like, I'm
Probably a little
super
bit
serious.
more on his life.
I'm super serious, and you can tell because I'm cursing every 2 seconds. you know. But I hope they're not working on multiplayer.
No.
This was like a year ago. This information was like a year or 2 years ago. But there was talks that they cut half the team. And I was
Yeah.
hoping that it was the multiplayer team. Obviously, I don't want anyone to get fired or anything like that, but I was hoping it would probably be the multiplayer because nobody played multiplayer in the darkness.
When it first came out, there were some people, but I think there was
There was
so
like
much
5
lag and
people.
so
There was like 5
yeah.
people, and I guarantee all of them were all who worked there. But they
Yeah.
need to. I wonder what would have happened if they would have had all those guys work for multiplayer, work
Yeah.
on the campaign as well. That campaign would have been almost perfect, It would have been so much more better.
Yeah.
So I mean, I hope they work on the story in just the single player. To this day, I still think that The Darkness is the first good comic book video game to ever come out. This is
Yeah.
before Infamous, before Batman Arkham Asylum. I feel
Yeah.
that The Darkness was the first sort of real comic book video game. It
Oh, yeah.
didn't feel like a movie. It felt like a comic book.
Yeah.
And I still hold it up there, so I'm hoping, it's not like you have to make a big changes. You don't have to make a lot of big changes.
no.
Fix the combat,
Yeah.
make him run, because in the first game I don't remember running at all.
No.
And it's crazy because a helicopter's coming after you, and I'm walking down the street. Like, why is he not running?
Yeah.
So
Sprinting.
I just had to get that off my chest because fucking Darkness 2, baby.
Come, embrace the darkness.
Blackout on one of these things. You'd think with 1,000 people on board, someone would pick up the phone.
We need more help. We don't have the resources to deal with this many cases. Nobody would tell us what's happening.
No.
That's not too bad. What was the game you rented from Game Access? I forgot.
Yeah, Dead Space, the original Dead Space.
Oh yeah, how many hours you put into that?
I think it was, according to the game. Well, I'm gonna say the Game Plus got 4 or 5 hours on it, because I'm at to chapter 5 right now. Like, after I did one part where I have to go into this place where there's a bunch of vegetation, I have to shoot down these necromorphs that are like contaminating the air, and I think it was that, and I was supposed to go find this giant meteor that they were extracting or something, launch into space using some kind of a beacon or stress call. And that's how far I got into right now. So.
I mean, is it a game you're digging, or? I mean, you think it's a pretty good game so far?
Oh yes. The designs of the necromorphs is really like say nerve-wracking. I mean,
Yeah.
talk about people. They used to be people, like the crewmen and all that. And I've seen some really weird stuff, like the ones you see on the walls that are like, you shoot out babies at you with one tentacle, and it's like, what the heck? And of course, once in a while, I get to see Isaac's girlfriend, much I think alive most of the time. But I haven't gone through most of the game yet. But of course, after seeing a few videos, of course she's probably pretty much dead. But
Yeah.
we're not sure of what.
It's hard
he's seeing.
not to see that spoiler everywhere.
For him seeing his girlfriend, he's not sure if he is alive or that's all. It's actually thing about the marker and all that.
What do you think of the weapons, the different weapons in the game? I don't know. You probably haven't gone through all of them, but what do you think of them so far?
I think they're pretty good depending on the whatever situation you use. Like most of the time, I always use the very first one you pick up was what, the plasma cutter or something.
Yeah, the plasma cutter. You actually get that as a special edition for Dead Space 2. A little mini plasma cutter, which I thought was kind of cool.
I always use that as like my my primary weapon at times, because for killing those necrophores, usually the ones that are on 2 legs with the fangs, I always shoot them in the legs first, and then I shoot them in the head or one of the limbs. Eventually they'll die out. So, and I even got the Ripper, which is pretty much your favorite, I think.
I enjoy the Ripper.
Yeah, that's
Definitely.
pretty good though. It's pretty good in certain places. Like if you ran out of ammo for something, you always gotta go for the Ripper. So.
It's really useful in Dead Space 1. It's a lot
Yeah.
more useful in Dead Space 2. I didn't use the Ripper all that much in part 1 because it was like one of the last weapons I gotten in the game. So I stuck with the same weapons in the beginning of the game throughout the whole entire Dead Space experience.
Same here though, because I have the line
The line
gun. They call it?
Yeah. That's like
I
the
didn't
second
use
weapon
that
you
one
got,
that
I
much,
think.
unless on those little parasite things that comes out of that big there's one necroport that has like a big belly, and sometimes you shoot.
Yeah, you shoot him in the stomach, and all of a sudden, all the different little worms and monsters starts coming out.
Yeah,
so
that's where I use my line gun, or the proximity mine ultimate fire for that. Goes all of them all at once.
yeah, for some reason, like in Dead Space 1, I didn't experiment too much with the different weapons. But in Dead Space 2, whenever you get a chance to play that game, they do a
Yeah.
lot better job with letting you try these different weapons.
Yeah.
I kind of felt like I was playing the same weapons over and over in the first Dead Space. I kept using like
Yeah.
the same 3, and the other ones I didn't even touch.
I pretty much use plasma rifle and the sometimes the Ripper and sometimes the plasma cutter. Pretty much almost the entire game so far. Pretty neat game because of course you walk
Any
around
part
and-
of that game you kind of jumped, where those tense moments.
Yeah. Like if I want to compare between Dead Space and Fear, it's kind of difficult. They're almost neck and neck, especially when it comes to the scares. But
Dead Space
Dang
doesn't
it.
have Alma.
no, that's it. Because Dead Space have used like something like from like the movie The Ring and used that little girl aspect, but Dead Space is just, it's the atmosphere. Like you're walking around and you hear whispers, that's probably just the ambience of the game or so, but it's like really creepy stuff. I mean,
Oh yeah, I have a feeling you're gonna love Dead Space 2, man. It's
I'm loving Dead Space 1, so